Utterson knows the name Mr. Hyde because it's appeared on one of his best friend, Dr. Jekyll's will, as the sole inheritor. And now that he's heard the story, he's terrified that there's something going on between this evil figure, Hyde, and his best friend, Dr. Jekyll. And so in chapter 2, what you see is Utterson being really concerned about his friend. So we have friendship. We also see his obsession with finding Hyde, which could be partly out of a moral need to catch a villain. But there seems something else, that he himself wants to desperately see this guy, his face. And there's the idea of repressed desire again, that there's something driving and pushing him to go to this. So what we see is Utterson continually digging at the problem, and his imagination was both engaged and enslaved. I think that those two words really sit out fantastically. He's drawn to this story, but he's somewhat enslaved by it, meaning the story owns and controls him, which takes us into something a little bit stronger and deeper, kind of what Jekyll is to the formula. He's enslaved to Hyde in a way. So that theme, that idea comes out. And in Night, he just keeps tossing and turning, and there are these two images. One of them, the first image, is of a human juggernaut, a monstrous, unstoppable beast stomping on a child and a screaming child, and just not even caring, continuing. And the second is a creepy one of a house where his friend's asleep and dreaming and smiling, and a door opening and curtains being pulled back, and a figure of whom power was given. He must rise and do its bidding. This kind of powerful, brutal image of a monster or a force that controls his best friend. And these two images kind of possess him. And he goes back again into the labyrinths of the lamp-lighted city, the mazes of the night. There we have that Gothic imagery of the city being a place where all those hidden secrets are twisting and turning away. And every street corner, crush a child and leave her screaming. He's seeing him as if, well, look, Enfield happened to see this once, but what's he doing all the time? And even creepier in Enfield's obsession is he can't see the face, because Enfield couldn't describe Hyde's face. He could mostly just describe the feeling of hatred and wanting to murder him, but he had difficulty actually describing him. And this image just baffled and scares him, and then melts before his eyes. So he's got this real desire, this curiosity to behold the features of the real Mr. Hyde. Why? Well, that's something you could ponder, but it's somewhat a detective novel. It's somehow a need to know. It's somehow a need to protect his friend. But there's also something else there. I think Utterson's own desire is something that can be explored. And what he's really fearful of is his friend's bondage to a creature that has no mercy, and who gave Enfield a feeling of enduring hatred. So he decides that no matter what's going to happen, he is going to find this guy night and day. He is going to search. And that's out of a real loyalty to his friend, but also a repressed or almost an accentuated desire that he has. And then he has this very cheap pun of Hyde and Hyde. If you're Hyde, I'm going to be Seek. That's fair enough, except what it really, I mean, it's very simple and childish, but what it really touches on is the idea of hidden identity, the need to know, and as if the knowledge will give him peace, he feels it would. And that ties into some of the ideas about the tension between science and religion. Religion being something built on faith, where science argues that with knowledge comes the control of what is to be known. Well, in The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, what we find is knowing does not heal the searcher any more than when they start. Utterson thinks he'll feel better if he knows and sees this person, but actually what he finds is something increasingly darker and more menacing throughout the book.